You can recall me, okay? The MP recall, okay? That's an important policy.
If we don't prevent climate change now, how will that affect the budgets of future governments?
Wow. That is such a great question. In 2012, the Royal Society published a report. And the Royal Society is our premier scientific body, as you know. And they said, 1, 2, 3, we have to address poverty and inequality. And there are plenty of studies that show that a more equal society has a more general well-being, stress, health, anxiety, crime, all those sorts of generic bads are less prevalent in a more equal society. So bringing the poorest out of their misery was number one from the Royal Society. Number two was that we have to live on a one-planet economy. Unsustainable consumption is a major issue. We have got to utterly recalibrate how we do things. We need to face up to the population issue in a non-coercive way. If we deal with it today, it will cost an awful lot less. But it's a small percentage to steer it now compared to flood defences, emergency food supplies, rehousing the whole of Bangladesh. The list goes on. I think it's for government and delegated local authorities to make the focus social housing, to build council houses again, to let the council be free to build council houses. It certainly doesn't help to give away the family jewels or discount the family jewels with the right to buy. So that's an awful idea. We need to seek out empty sites, we need to seek out brownfield sites. For our own well-being, the green belt is important. And I think when you really do get down to it, although my national policy doesn't say so, that does mean in the end we have to build to a greater density. It means we have to build up, I'm afraid. Once the brownfield sites are gone, we have to build upwards. Our national policy is to bring the railways back into national ownership. On its own, that should release additional funding into the system because there is no profit motive to be rewarded and there is no accounting and contracting in between the many parties. I think we would plan to actually reduce fares. We would, in control of fares, we would reduce fares. And we would also like to see still more efforts, I acknowledge efforts are made to integrate the transport system. I have to say proudly that the word pothole is in our national manifesto. We would spend money filling in the potholes. So our schools policy is essentially to bring that back under local democratic control. The council would be free to judge whether it needed to build a new school or use the money on existing provision. Our party has given the highest single figure for funding commitments to the NHS. If the local judgment is that St Albans should have a certain level of facility, then the funding would be more likely there under our budgets than anybody else's.